call and response. And then after we do a few call and responses, then we'll do it like the whole mantra. Okay. And then we'll do the Om Namah Shivaya Gurave mantra. And then I'll talk about its meaning. And then we'll probably do yoga, but we'll see where we're at that point. So let's all sit comfortably. Noticing how your breath feels, how your body feels. Just arriving here now. So I'll exhale together. Inhale, hold the breath. Squeeze every muscle in the body. Face, shoulders, chest, arms, butt, legs. And double exhale, relax. Let it all go on the exhales. Double inhale, tighten, tighten. Squeeze. And let go. One more. Squeeze. And let go. Exhale all the way out. And we'll inhale the chant Om. Ooh. Inhale. Exhale. I'll chant the mantra one time, and then you guys can respond. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Glam Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gang Ganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha. You guys. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara.
Vishnu Gurudeva Maheshwara.
Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Sakshat
Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara.
Gurudeva Maheshwara.
Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha.
Let's do it 3 more times all together. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Let's do a few more. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I'll chant the whole mantra. It's the longest one we've done yet. I'll chant it all the way through, and then we'll do section by section. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. So now we'll do call and response section by section. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. Satchidananda Murtaye. Satchidananda Murtaye. Satchidananda Murtaye. Satchidananda Murtaye. Satchidananda Murtaye. Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya. Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya. Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya. Nish Prapanchaya
Shantaya.
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya.
Shantaya.
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya.
Nishprapanchaya Shantaya.
Niralambaya Tejase. Niralambaya Tejase. Niralambaya Tejase. Niralambaya Tejase. Okay, so there's in this mantra, there's some long A's, and I'm making sure I'm doing it right. I've got it up on the computer. People don't always do it correctly, and I don't always do it correctly. If you listen to all the different recordings, there's sometimes people hit the long A's because there's basically a lot of vowels, mostly A's, that are long. It's nothing to really like wig out about if the A's are a little like if you're not getting the exact vowels long when you're supposed to, unless you're trying to do really strict Sanskrit chanting. But like if you listen to like Krishna Das or I was talking about the Ty Bruner album, they kind of mix up the A's. I was listening to Swami Satchidananda of Integral Yoga, these old recordings. I assume they're from the 70s. They sound really rough and they're awesome. And they did this and it was I was really enjoying it. But okay, so I texted you it because you asked for it. But you can see that there's the ones with the dash over top. Those are the long A's. Om Namah Shivaya. So that little dash over top the S means it's a SH sound. Shivaya. Shivaya. Gurave. Satchit Ananda Murtaye. So a little tangent. My teacher, Dr. Raju, he was a Sanskrit scholar and he would really ham up the long vowels when he would do the Sanskrit. So he would be doing this, he'd be like, Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. He would always really like exaggerate them quite a bit, the long A's. But so just a little story. So, Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. You guys' turn. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. Satchidananda Murtaye. Satchidananda Murtaye. Satchidananda Murtaye. Ananda Murtaye. So it's a long, the Ananda is a long A. It's always a long A when we use it in the context that we use it, like Swami Shivananda or Shankarananda or Yoga Asana. So Ananda and Ananda are different words. And Ananda means bliss, unconditioned bliss. And Ananda means suffering from craving material possessions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they kind of mean like the opposite of each other. Satchidanandamurtaye Satchidananda Satchidanandamurtaye 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 Satchidananda Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Yeah, we'll all do it together from the beginning. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Is universal consciousness. It also means God, according to the Bhagavad Gita. Universal consciousness. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. I'm bowing to Shiva, Gurave, the divine teacher, the teacher. So Gurave is a grammatical variation on the guru. So it's saying Shiva is the divine guru. Now, Shiva could be framed in different ways. It could be Shiva as pure consciousness, which usually this mantra is associated with that tendency instead of the blue guy with dreadlocks that smokes weed that is married to Parvati, lives on the mountain. So it's referring to Shiva as pure consciousness. So Shiva in the Hatha Yoga tradition, which all the physical yoga comes out of, the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, at the beginning of the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, it says that Shiva is like the grand master, the Adi Guru is the term it uses, the first guru of Hatha Yoga. So interesting connection there. So Om Namah Shivaya Gurave. So salutations, I'm bowing to that teacher that is pure consciousness. Sat Chit Ananda is a very common phrase. Some people sometimes will say it more sat, like SAT. Sometimes people say it more such, with more of like a C sound. Either way, don't worry too much about it. Truth, consciousness, and bliss, absolute. So I'm bowing to the supreme teacher, the grand master of yoga, pure consciousness, which is truth, consciousness, and bliss absolute. And then there's the word mortaye, mortaye. So if you guys have ever heard the word morti, which is another name that people will call deities. So if you've got like a statue of Shiva, let's just say, so it becomes a murti when it becomes through ritualized worship. There's a process called prana pratishta, when they are very specific mantras are done to enliven the murtis. So after a statue has prana pratishta, it's no longer considered just like a statue. It's considered to be like an enlivened presence of God. And so if that happens, if you're involved with any of those kinds of things, there's a lot of rules and regulations because you're caring for this ritualized sacred relic. So I had the weird, is that the right word? Is that how I should frame it? I was involved with the Swamis at Mother's Trust for a number of years, and they had a couple deities that had been enlivened that came here for a little while.
Oh, really?
And we were taking care of them for a number of years. I don't know if you ever saw them because you've been around for a while. We had a Durga. She was like really beautiful. She was about that big, about that wide. And then a Jagannath, Lord Jagannath. So Krishna in a bliss state. It's like big circle. It's the Hare Krishnas are into Jagannath, big circular eyes, and then the circular. And he's like, it's considered Krishna in a pure in like a state of ecstasy. So we had Jagannath and Durga, and I could say a lot about those two deities that we had. We had them for like maybe a year and a half or 2 years. And Mataji, who was the head of Mother's Trust, she passed away a couple of years ago. She was like, take care of these deities for a little while. And so we did. She's like, someday you won't take care of the deities anymore. And I had a feeling like the time was coming. And then she said, bring them back to Chicago. And so I brought them back to Chicago. And there they stay for now. They're in Chicago. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? But the woman who has them, Indra Makija, she said that when she passes, she's sending them back to me, unless her kids want them, which I don't think her kids will. But
Is you like taking care of her?
They were pretty easy. We didn't have, there's a long story, and I'm not going to tell it all now, but especially Jagannath, he had prana pratishtha done on him. So he was supposed to have pretty strenuous rituals done. And Indra had simplified it down to, um, she gave him some nuts and some seeds, and she did mantras every day. And so I did the nuts and the seeds and for a little bit, and then I just did the mantras. And Mataji was like, just do the mantras, don't worry about it. And so I kept the mantras going, and then I brought him back to Indra, and so she's got them now
And you have to do the mantras.
every day. Yeah.
Just once a-
Yeah, so like the Hare Krishnas, they have the, they've got, have you been to the Harmony Collective? So they have like nowadays they have very nice murtis
Yes.
of Chaitanya and Nityananda, and those were prana pratishtha was done on those. So they do, and that's more strict than what was going on with everything at Mother's Trust. So they do like 3 times I don't even know how many times a day they do, but it's like taking care of a human.
Yeah.
You have to feed them. You have Yeah, there's a whole bunch of, you give them incense, you give them all this stuff, and you have to do it at certain times every day. So it's a temple, basically.
Yeah.
They upgraded from, what do they call it? A preaching center, I think is the term that they use, to a temple. So now they're actually like, and it takes a lot to keep a temple like that flowing because you have to, yeah, somebody always has to be on the deity duty. So that's the word morti, getting back to it. I didn't let AD.
Question. Sat.
1 second. So Morti, Mortaye, Satchidananda Mortaye. So the Morti is the image of, kind of like you have the image of the Shiva. Well, the word means image of. I don't know if it could also means image of. I mean, what did you say? Embodiment? I don't think it has to do with the body. Morti is like a reflection of the divine. But yeah, I don't know if the word has other meanings. I'm sure it has multiple meanings, but. So, Satchidananda Mortaye. Yes, sir.
Sat, you had said it was truth. I know some people say it's existence. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I've never heard it as existence. That doesn't mean that I know everything. I think of chit as consciousness or existence, but not sat.
Yeah.
In Sanskrit, sat, asat, it's like very, like the common translation is true and not true, right? So sat, guru, because true guru, right? So it's used very common in terms of truth.
Truth.
And what kind of like the deeper meaning, because like you can think about it, what truth is really is, right? And you can find all these different words for it.
It might be existence. I kind of am having a vague memory, but I'm thinking that the way that it's hitting my brain now is chit is like mind stuff or consciousness, existence, truth. But it could be is ringing a small bell, but it's usually like referred to as truth is the most common, very, very common. Satya is, the action of truth. So, and then it's defined as, within the tradition, it's truth would be that which is unchanging.
That's based Maya, and it's not considered to be true. So it's to say that existence, like what is existence? So it's definitely not this material existence if they're using the existence word, right? So sat should be not this existence, even if you're using it in the meaning of the existence.
Yeah, so in the Advaita Vedanta terminology, the world is unreal. We've talked about this before. I think it's interesting because I think I guess I'll go there. A lot of people who are like heavily under the influence of a lot of the popular gurus and stuff like that, like the most common language is the Advaita Vedanta language. The world is unreal, pure consciousness is real. And then, but with you get into all the Vedanta schools, it's most of the Vedanta schools don't teach that. And Ramakrishna doesn't teach that. He doesn't, he says that Maya, Shakti is real, but it has changing characteristics. It's like, well, why does something that have changing characteristics have to be unreal? is
Yeah.
what they say. And it's the thing is like, well, we cling to it. So they all, I think I said this last time, they all agree that the clinging to it is the problem. But then how they define the nature of the world, that gets into theology. Some people like theology, some people can't stand it. So Satchitananda is something that you find a lot within the non-dualistic school, where people will use that term, or people associated with it are close to it, like Ramakrishna people, Amma, the people we tend to hang out with. Satchitananda. Hare Krishnas, they will not really say Satchitananda. I was talking to Deva Madhava once, and there was one of their gurus who I have like an affinity towards. He's this German guy. His name is Satchiananda. And I thought it was Satchitananda. And Deva kind of laughed at me, and he was like, no, it's not Satchitananda. Satchi, which is referring to, I don't remember, one of Krishna's something with Krishna. So they don't really use that. It's because it's a funny thing because you have pure consciousness, which is one without a second, non-dual, no two, Advaita, not two. That's what Advaita means. And then the way that people explain that, in explaining it, it can't really point to what it really, it's just pointing towards the moon, but it's not the moon itself, as they say. They use three things to explain that one thing. Truth, consciousness, and bliss. Truth, consciousness, and bliss are the pointers towards non-dual consciousness. So it's a Om Namah Shivaya, I'm bowing to Shiva, the divine teacher, whose truth consciousness, who's a reflection of the Murti of, the image of truth, consciousness, and bliss. Nish Prapanchaya Shantaya. So Shantaya is a grammatical variation on the word Shanti. So it means peace, translucent. So Nish Prapanchaya, one who has the qualities of peacefulness. Niralambaya Tejase. So Niralamba. So there's some yoga poses, like shoulder stand, Niralamba Sarvangasana. Did I say that right? Shoulder stand without using your hands. So it's without support. Niralamba. Niralambaya is the grammatical variation on it. So he's peaceful. This quality, you can't even say he. It's not about he, even though Shiva is usually he. Although Shiva is also a woman's name. Shiva, Vandana Shiva. You guys familiar with her? She's a big environmentalist activist out of India. Vandana Shiva.
Name in the East, like even Iranian common name Shiva, which means the one that have good ability to speak fluently. They have it like their common name Shiva, not connected to
Nice.
Shiva deity in any way.
Yeah. And there's the word Shiva, like Queen Shiva, which is a little bit different. And then you've got like South Indian, it's like Shiva versus Shiva. There's all the whatever. But at one of the nuns who was at Mother's Trust, who doesn't live there anymore, but her name is Shiva. The long A, Shiva. And then the other nun is Shakti. So one of them's named Shiva, the other one's named Shakti. I was on the phone with Shakti for like an hour today because she's going to be the president of the nonprofit. Yeah, I'm going to be the treasurer because I'm doing all the heavy work. And she's the one we'll check in with about. She's been doing the nonprofit thing since the 70s, So, okay, so Om Namah Shivaya, blah, 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 blah. Okay, Niralambaya. So Tejase. Tejas, if you guys are familiar with Ayurveda terminology, Tejas means radiant, shiny, luminous, luminosity. So Niralambaya Tejase, the one that is radiant because without support. So if you try to translate a non-literal translation of without support, it would be like this consciousness is radiant by its own volition. Happy for no good reason. Happiness coming up with not because anything happened, because happiness and joy is existing within consciousness. So it's Niralambaya, There's no supports. It's happy and joyful. It doesn't need to do mantra, doesn't need to have a foot rub, doesn't need to do any yoga poses or have any food, doesn't need any water, doesn't need a crazy tantric sex partner. Because I'm a puppetry joke. Doesn't need to have a new partner. It's like whatever. It's like totally at peace with everything as it is. So Om Namah Shivaya, Gurave, bowing to that supreme consciousness. It's the divine teacher, truth, consciousness, and bliss. The image of it's pure, transcendent. Nishprapanchaya is transcendent. Shantaya is peaceful, and it is radiant. And this is all coming without any support. It's naturally unfolding naturally. So very beautiful mantra. Cultural context. John Friend and Usara Yoga, they use it at the beginning of their yoga classes. It's very common in the Shivananda traditions. You'll see them chant it. All of the different Shivananda branches, like we were saying, Krishna Das. It's very common. I've gone searching for I should ask ChatGPT. I haven't done that yet, but I've asked experts in the field, and no one knows. There's no source text associated with it, and that seems to be the case. So it's like a mantra that is commonly sung, but it's not coming out of like an Upanishad or the Bhagavad Gita or the Yoga Sutras or anything like that. Often associated with non-dualistic thinking, like I was saying. The Hare Krishnas would not be chanting this, but the Shivananda, the Amma people might throw it in every now and then. I've never heard them sing it, but it would be philosophically aligned with what Amma teaches. So, it's often used. People use it as an invocation mantra, and people also use it as a closing mantra. So it has flexibility like that. So a lot of these like longer Shanti mantras, some people will use them at the beginning, some people will use them at the end. There's no like hard, fast rules. But you'll find in some traditions, people will be like the Anusara people, it's like the invocation mantra for that style of yoga. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you put it all together, what are we saying?
I'm bowing to supreme consciousness, which is without support. It's truth and consciousness and bliss. It's forever radiant, peaceful. It's transcendental.
Nice.
Yeah. So I sent you guys an email today, and in it, there's like a link, and I wrote a long ebook on it based upon the teachings I got from my teacher, Dr. Raja. So I had like a couple classes with him, and he gave me his like take on it, and then I wrote notes, and then I turned it into a book. So, and I also used other sources and stuff like that. It's like, I don't know, 9 pages. I'm guessing, I don't remember how long it is. It's not a paragraph translation, but if you want to learn more about the mantra and all the Sanskrit words, it's all written out there. It's behind an email wall. So you got to type in your email to get it, and that will put you onto my email list. So I think most of you are on my email list already.
That's a question. Well, say like, no, you want the only list.
You want my ebook? You got to give me your email address. So it's good. I'm happy with it. I feel happy with having gotten that out. So it's been out there for a while. Okay, so let's go through all the mantras again. We'll chant them each 3 times, and then we'll do some yoga. I kind of asked you guys this last time. You guys are happy to not have super specific instructions. There was something that I was going to do. I was going to give you guys more specific instructions about meditation, right?
Just which mantra to use. I think that's what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
which mantra to use on the breath. So it's also more helpful for you in terms of length. How we move it.
So next time the next 2 classes, we're going to talk about japa, a little bit and on Om Namah Shivaya, and then one or two goddess mantras. I'm pretty sure we'll do two, but we'll see how the time goes. So we'll do more specific, like using Om Namah Shivaya through your whole practice, like next time we meet, because we're going to be doing that. Just Om Namah Shivaya by itself. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. Let us proceed. So settling back in. Noticing the natural state of the breath. Exhale all the way out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, chant Om. Om. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gam Ganapate Namah. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gam Ganapate Namah. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Glam Gam Ganapate Namah. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchitananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Do a melodic Om. Inhale, hands up to the sky. Feel your belly lifting. Shoulders reach up. We'll circle our wrist. Move our fingers. Change directions. Twist to the left. Inhale, hands up. Twist the wrist. Change directions, exhale. Inhale up. Exhale, twist. Inhale up. Twist. One more time each side. And we'll go back to the left where we started. Stay in the twist this time. And then we'll bring our chin to our right shoulder. And we'll move the neck back and forth while remaining in the twist. Next time the chin's coming to the center, we'll inhale everything up. Exhale, twist to the other side. And we'll move the chin, moving the neck. Back to the center. Exhale. Scan the body. Hands are on the knees. Arms are straight but not locked. And we'll begin flexing our spine. Inhale forward. Exhale back. There's a lot of movement around the ball and socket joint at the hips. The whole spine is moving. Shoulders are moving. Inhale, center. Inhale all the way, hold the breath. Focus up at your third eye. Exhale. Thinking about internal mantra. Doing the mantra inside your head while you watch your breath, syncing it with your breath if that works. We'll release the legs out. Bring
Question, when you're saying the mantra, are we doing Om Namah Shivaya or a personal mantra?
personal mantra.
Uh,
So we'll start to make big circles around the ankles. Trying to move the full range of motion of your ankles. How much can you move them? Change directions. And come to the center. We're gonna just move our toes back and forth. Opening and closing. And we'll flex the ankles back and forth. Relax it. We'll bring our legs together. We're gonna do like namaste feet. So bring the soles of the feet together and then bring them the opposite direction, kind of like you're bringing your toes towards your knees, your pinky toes towards your knees. In and out. In Western anatomy, this is called inversion and eversion. Because the ankle is a unique angle in the body from anatomical position. It gets its own name. And then we'll relax and make any movements you want to make. It's just kind of working out the ankles. Take our right leg, we're going to bend it and pull it in towards your belly, like putting pressure on your belly. And then we'll bring the foot up. Then we'll bend, bring the thigh to the belly, squeeze. There's a little bit of a diagonal movement. And then the leg back up. Exhale, thigh to the belly. Inhale, foot. This time we're going to hold. Make sure your shoulders aren't in your ears. We're going to bring the shoulders down the back. Heel pushes away from the body. Spine is long. Watching your mind. We'll bend the knee. We'll squeeze it in one more time. Then release. We'll take the left. Squeeze the leg in. Then bring the foot up. Now, some people, this doesn't work. In that case, you have them bring their hands underneath their knees as a modification. Foot down, squeeze. Foot up. Foot down, squeeze. And then we'll bring the foot up. This time we're going to hold a little bit longer. Shoulders out of the ears, the back is long. Back of the neck is long, chin is slightly down. Exhale, bring the leg down. We'll squeeze in one more time. Take a few breaths as you feel that pressure. And we'll bring the leg out. We'll lean back for a moment. Make sure your elbows are mobile. Don't lock them. Pinch your shoulder blades together. So we were obviously stretching our legs, but we're also putting pressure on our digestive tract. And we're going to continue with that, but bending the knees. And we'll do like a seated squat. So if you can grab elbow to elbow, that's great. If not, you can just go like this with your hands. Another option is to intertwine the fingers. Pull the knees together. We want to be pushing the knees together and then focus on sitting up. These look like fairly standard yoga exercises, but there's a lot of profound practices going on here. These are used to help balance the 5 pranas in the body, which meet at the navel. Also works on clearing the colon. So we did the right side for ascending colon, left side for descending colon. Now we're putting pressure on the whole thing. And we'll soften up a little bit, and then we'll come onto our backs. And we're going to continue with that theme here. We'll have both thighs on our belly. And we'll rock a little bit left and right while putting pressure on our digestive organs. Long, deep breath. Feet down. Hips to the left. Right leg out straight, and we'll twist. Shins rolling to the left. Inhale, center. I'll bend the knees, drag the hips to the right. Left leg comes out straight. And we'll twist the other direction. Inhale, center. We'll bring both thighs up to the belly again. And we'll gently rock left and right, putting pressure on the abdomen. Keeping the thighs at the belly, we'll come to the center. Tuck your chin just a smidge, and then use your abdominal muscles. We're going to crunch up. Inhale down. Exhale, crunch up. In. Exhale, crunch up and hold. Shoulders out of the ears. Head down. Soften your breathing. Keep the thighs at the belly just a little bit longer. And then feet to the floor. Hands can either rest at the side body or on top of your belly. Big inhale and exhale.
primary nadis, we often talk about them moving through the spine and then ending at our nostrils. They actually go all the way down our legs as well. So we're still working with balancing the downward moving energy by doing these exercises that help to clear the colon of wind. They're called Pavan Mukasana in Sanskrit, which means wind relieving. We'll bring our left leg out straight, right thigh on the belly. And this is the diagonal. So the back is on the floor and the thigh is mostly on the abdomen, less so on the ribs. Then we'll tuck our chin just a little bit and then use your abdominal muscles to crunch up. Inhale down. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale down. Continue up and down at a smooth flowing pace. So again, we're working our ascending colon here, as well as other things. The body's not isolated in isolated parts, but we're targeting mostly the ascending colon. Next time you're up, hold and take a few breaths. Inhale, hold your breath. Lower the head down. Keep the thigh at belly. And then as you exhale, soften your belly, but keep your thigh where it's at. And we'll release the leg out straight, hands up over top of the head. Lengthen. Exhale, left thigh to the belly. Hari Om. Diagonal angle. And again, the thighs mostly on the belly, less on the ribs. Tuck the chin a little bit. Exhale, crunch up using the abdominal muscles. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale. Exhale, crunch up. Do a few more. Next time you're up, hold. Inhale, hold the breath. Lower the head down and then exhale and soften your belly, keeping the thigh where it's at. Leg comes out straight, hands up over the top of the head. Lengthening, stretching. Exhale, thighs to the belly. Inhale. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale then. Exhale, crunch up. Inhale. Exhale, crunch up and hold. Breathe. Shoulders out of the ears, long, deep breath, thinking of your mantra. Inhale, hold. Lower the head down. Exhale, soften the belly. Feet to the floor. Notice how the abdomen feels. Deeply absorbed inside of yourself. We'll go over into table position. We don't have a whole ton of time for yoga this evening, so we're just gonna come into the down dog to get a little inversion. Down dog is a mild inversion. I actually consider it to be a fairly advanced posture. A lot of people do it in ways that can be harmful to the low back. So one thing to make sure that we're making our back happy as possible, pull your belly button in a little bit and bend your knees. Don't worry about your heels. They just will do what they do. And then lengthen through your armpits. Then we'll very slowly, without moving your low back, straighten your knees a little bit without flinging them forward. And you'll notice there'll be more resistance if you do that. So often people will come up into down dog with locked knees, and it wreaks havoc on the low back. We'll come forward to plank. So the military, I believe it was the Marines, it might be all military. A number of years ago, they quit doing sit-ups because they found that it caused a lot of back problems, and they started doing more planks. Now, planks can be problematic for the wrist. Any yoga pose can be problematic for something, all depending on pathology, underlying health conditions, blah, blah, blah. But plank's great for arm strength and core strength. We'll lower our knees down. Come into child's pose. Let it all go. We'll slowly come up and extend our right leg out. We're going to fold over the right leg. Make sure you're not locking your knee. If you bend your knee a little bit, then your belly will come down further and you actually will get more stretch in your hamstring instead of over pressurizing the lumbar area. Heart center moves forward energetically. Top of the head moves forward energetically. Long, deep breath. When we stretch out our right leg, we're actually opening up our right nostril. So when we breath, alternate nostril breathing is good. And this actually has a similar effect to balance the nostrils. So we'll come up and we'll switch legs. Opening up the channel in the left leg. Again, make sure we're not locking our knee out and then folding. We want to have the knee a little bendable, a little mobile. Heart center moves forward, top of the head reaches forward, shoulders move down the back. Sits bones move away from the body one direction, the heel moves away from the body the other direction. Long, deep breath. Now, in Hatha Yoga, we have Janu Shirshasana, which means head to knee pose. We don't really go for that. Most Americans, we have kyphosis, is what's called rounding in the upper back from driving, being on the phone, not using our muscle, our arms over top of our head. So we don't really want to encourage rounding in the upper back so much. But Janu Shirshasana looks a lot like what's also called Mahamudra. So Mahamudra uses the interlocks. We're not going to go over those now, but you get the benefits of opening the channels, even if you don't do all of the bandhas. On the inhale, open the chest forward, make your knee a little bendable. We'll come up. So we open to the right, we open to the left. We've also been working on our colon this whole time, and we'll fold over both, continue with this pressurizing of the colon and opening up the energy channels through the legs. Shoulders out of the ears, the spine is long. So reach your heart center towards your feet. Don't round in your upper back so much. Sits bones move away from the body. Inhale, we'll slowly come up, and we'll come back to that seated squat that we did earlier. Get clear, move the energy downward. And we'll release and come to seated, comfortable seated position. Or letting the breath go natural, do a few rounds of lengthening your breath. Long, smooth, deep breathing. A few more breaths with the breath long. And we'll relax the breath, letting it become natural. So applying no effort. Keep the mantra moving with the breath in and out. If you like, you can inhale Om, exhale Shanti, or keep with whatever practice you like. Shanti, Shanti. Chant the closing mantras. Exhale. Inhale, chant one Om. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityurma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Tat Sat Om. Namaste. Thanks for coming. Anybody want to say anything?
I know that you have, the words of all the mantras and what they mean. Sometimes when I'm chanting, I just chant what I'm feeling and I don't really often know what I'm talking about while I'm doing it, but it's all super fine anyway. But I think maybe it could be important that I know what I'm saying and choose.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting topic. Yeah. The Yoga Sutras, they say, do the mantra and contemplate on its meaning. A lot of contemporary mantra teachers, like Krishna Das, for example, they put very little emphasis on what anything means. And it's more about the bhav, the mood. And I think both are important. Both are good. In the bhakti traditions, usually bhava, or your mood, is more important than meaning. So flow state is more important than conceptual. Now, just speaking for myself and my own journey, I really swallowed the Kool-Aid with you don't need to understand everything. And I had a very intense practice, and that created instability for me. Because at some point it was like, what am I doing? And then at some point it also, like, especially if you want to be teaching and stuff like that, it's like, do we actually know what we're talking about? Or are we just like blowing sunshine out of our asses? And a lot of yoga teachers and people do that. A lot of people have tradition phobia, and intellectual phobia in the yoga and new age world. Everybody just wants to like feel good and like, you know, don't get too structured. Interestingly, like the Vedanta Society, Ramakrishna Mission, they're very scholarly and they're not very popular. With Americans. In India, they're very popular. So I think the bhava is most important. And the simple teaching that like the mantras are you invoking your own highest self is true. That's a true teaching. And there's a lot of cultural, philosophical things that we can enjoy. Now, some people like when I was in the Kundalini yoga community, I always had a tendency because I was raised in this like Christian community that was very intellectual, like a lot of theology study and stuff like that. And people would get very, if I started like ask too many questions, people would tell me to like get out of my head and just be in my heart. And I went with that for a long time, but I was kind of oppressing my nature, right? And so then eventually, like I just let myself have it, and I was like, I'm gonna actually learn about this stuff, and that didn't go too well with being in the Kundalini yoga world. Uh, it's like, you know, like just conflating like meridians and anatomy in this like hop job kind of way is like very common. And I feel very grounded in like my understanding of things, and I like that personally, but I don't think that people need to feel like it can also be an obstacle to practice simultaneously. And like a lot of the saints were just, you know, people who just love God a lot. Like Neem Karoli Baba, you know, like he wasn't a scholar at all. He just was an ecstatic.
Another piece of it is that if I'm looking at the book that has like the translation, I might not understand what it really means, like that it could mean something else, like I think there's one that removes obstacles or something, I'm like, I don't know, maybe obstacles removed, but it's like, oh, removing obstacles towards attaining my higher self, I'm like, okay, yes, I will chant that one then, or I will want to chant that for that reason. Versus,
So I think that our intuition is good here. Our mind is the lower level of that, like manas, right? So when you choose a mantra that you feel resonates with you, I think it's always a wiser choice whether you're like, oh, I like that one because it removes obstacles. I think the better approach is to chant what resonates with you and then learn about what it means.
Yeah, I agree.
Rather than you like choose, you read a lot and you think, okay, I think that's what this, you know, like,
what do I know about what I think?
like, if it
Yeah.
resonates with your body and what you're chanting, it should be good for you. And I believe that unless the mantra practice is very intense, it's not that harmful. You know, like doing the kriyas is much more intense in terms of
Yeah.
like really. So you know, like sometimes they say like women should not chant Gayatri mantra, you know, like things like that. So maybe if I would be chanting it 108 times every day, that would be not good, but you know, like. Very nice of you.
Yeah, it's probably because like the Gayatri mantra is what we call the guy Om Bhu Bhuva Swaha. It's a sun mantra, so it could be too heating, and if you're doing a ton of it, it could have yeah. And I think your point's really important. It's like how hardcore is the practice, and like there are counterindications, but generally speaking, what Swami Shivananda calls the yoga mantras, other people call them like general bhakti mantras. I call them like open source mantras, which is what we all hear all the time, like Om Namah Shivaya, Hare Krishna, Ram 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 Ram. You know, like all of those, they're considered to be, there's no rules. You can do them excessively and it's fine. There's not like a whole lot of structure or like God, like basic goddess mantras, stuff like that. It's just like jump in, feel the energy, go with it. Don't worry about it too much. And then it's the thing that's interesting too, and one of the reasons like people will often say like pick a tradition and stick in it. It's because if you don't, the traditions do start to contradict each other, and it can cause chaos in the mind, especially if you don't have a mind that can sit with conflicting ideas, which I don't mean to be rude to humans, but most people cannot sit with conflicting ideas. And and everyone has a capacity of how much conflicting ideas they can sit with. So that's why it's like practice is more important and going for it. But yeah, I'm just like peppering like a bunch of different ideas. But if you ever want to learn about something, yeah, I think it's good to try to stick within like a specific lineage line, or at least a ballpark of lineage line, so that you don't get too confused. And unless you're at the point where you're consciously doing like comparative philosophy, like, yeah, like the mantra Ram is interesting because it has a bunch of different meanings and different traditions, right? So some people do it because they're thinking of like Ram of Ayodhya, the person Ram, and then people like view it as like the impersonal God. Some people, it's about the navel and fire energy and increasing like masculine energy in some cases. Some people have that view. So it's like, whatever story you're buying into. So they like people will say that all of the mantras, they're vehicles to get you somewhere. And so it's the love and the devotion that we put into it. So like, I don't know if you're like, I'm going to tell a story, and if you want to just leave, you can just leave. I had a really bad breakup. And I usually always like get along with my ex-girlfriends, we're like friends. And like this girl I was with, she just she blocked me on like everything. She like was like not gonna talk to me. And I was like in shock, especially because it was, I moved. And that's why we broke up. And we were getting along. We were like, everything was copacetic. I moved, and she just went ballistic, and she completely blocked me. So I had like really hurt feelings, and I was feeling pretty raw. And then I went to Solstice, Kundalini Yoga Solstice, and they always have a all camp meditation. And that year was for tears in your aura due to relationship conflicts. And they were like, so do this for 40 days to like heal your aura. And like they have the whole like Kundalini yoga, like prescriptive thing, right? And I don't remember exactly what. I think you like sat like this, and then you're like, Had Hare Hari Waheguru or something. I don't remember what it was, but I did it for 40 days, and I just set my intention to clear all of the bad vibes. Like, and I was so hurt and devastated beginning of the 40 days, but after I did my 40 days, I felt like very like at peace with her, and I didn't feel so hurt anymore. And I think if I would have done any mantra, like recently me and Swami Shankara Ananda were talking like 6 months ago, and I was feeling a little pissed that somebody that he knows that we had like organizational stuff that connects to Song of the Morning. I'll just say that. And I was like, oh, and I'm like, Swami, I'm having all these negative thoughts. He's like, just put it into your mantra. And I did. I just put it into my mantra, and I didn't even I did that for like 10 minutes, and then it just cleared, just to like set the intention. And it was like this mantra or that mantra. Like now the thing is, I think some mantras get charged, and how does a mantra get charged? That's a whole nother topic. But you charge the mantra. You can charge the mantra by doing it a lot, or if you have faith in the mantra. I got a mantra from Amma, and it happened to be a mantra that my teacher Sri Pram had already given me. It was my favorite mantra that I got from him, and then I asked Amma for a mantra, and she gave me the same one. I think she gives a lot of people the exact same mantra too. But it's like, so like I keep doing it. I've been doing that mantra for I don't know how long, since like, I've been doing it since 2001 when I met my teacher. I got it from Amma in like 2003 or 2004, 2005. So like 20 years trucking along with that mantra. So like I just put my faith into it, and like every now and then the mind gets restless. Maybe I should have another mantra. What's that mantra mean anyways? That's Shiva mantra. And you look at like what Shiva means, and like Shiva means something different to the Hare Krishnas than it does to the Shivites. And it means something different in like all these different schools. And so it's like Om Namah Shivaya. And let it go and just do the mantra. So it kind of comes back to that at some point too. It's like let it go, get out of our head. But yeah, the Yoga Sutra says it's good to understand what the mantra means. And yeah, I would elaborate on what the Yoga Sutra says, what it means to you, like the Hare Krishna is like, for them, they do the mantra, and it's all about this loving relationship with Krishna. They have this like kind of servant devotee love relationship with Krishna that they're into. Where other people are just like, I want to get high on the sound. And if you like getting high on the sound, like, and that's like what relates to your mind, like go with it, go with it. Right? There's different paths for different people.
it's not into, what they do, but yeah, I get how on sound.
Yeah, I get very uncomfortable. Like, I don't mean to put anybody down. It's about me. I get very uncomfortable with their preaching.
Yeah.
I go blank as soon as I've gotten to the point where as soon as they start talking, I know I go in my own world.
Yeah, I'm never there when they're doing the talking, because I arrive very late, so I'm
Oh,
just there for so much
interesting.
chatting. Like,
Some of them are better than others, and like that community is actually pretty not that bad for Hare Krishnas. Once I was there, and there's this one guy who used to teach a lot, and he said something, and it was like somebody kicked me in the back of my head, and I just yelled something out in the room at him, and I was like, I didn't just do that. And then I was sitting there, and then 10 minutes later, boom, I did it again, and it literally felt like somebody kicked something out of my mouth, and I was like, oh, I was like all embarrassed that I did it, and he was like super respected. And then a couple months later, it ended up that was like beating his wife and his kids, and he was like a big respected teacher in that community, and they kicked him out. But that's just like an interesting side.
Wow.
Sad story.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was a great Sanskrit scholar guy, and
Wow.
I feel kind of bad for him, like whatever his karma was with domestic abuse and all that, and that the whole community that he got like ousted. But I feel bad for his family and kids and stuff too, of
Yeah.
course. But yeah, it just was funny. I'm just rambling.
Wow.
Thanks for listening. And I was like, why did I do that? Like, why did I just start like yelling at the guy? I'm like, I lost control. And every time I saw him, I just wanted to chew him out. I just was like, I'm like, go in the other room.
take it to mantra.
Take it to your mantra. I would be like, you're arrogant. But I'm like, I don't want to hear it from you. I was like, don't do it.
So I haven't gone there. Do they give a talk before the chanting?
No, because I have been able to get there early on. It's Thursdays from I think 6 until 8, and then they share food. But and sometimes if it's a special occasion, they'll do a little talking
Okay.
or extend it. And I think maybe at the end, because I get there pretty much when the chanting's done for the most part, if I don't skip one of my classes. So they might do a little wrapping up talk at the end, but it's not much at all. So I think it's just totally, they just kind of switch musicians or switch people that are playing
Thursday night's kirtan night.
Thursday night.
Yeah.
So unless I was going to go and I text Deva and he was like, there's a Swami in town. He's going to be talking. Because Deva knows. I never say it to him, but he knows. No, this was a couple months ago. And I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, good. I'm not going to come. And then David texted me. He's like, I'm not going either. He's like, I don't want to hear anybody talk about it.
Teaching them the Hare Krishna chant, and like the one guy was singing it, and she kept like interrupting him and correcting him and interrupting him and correcting him, and like I couldn't hear the difference, and it was really interesting. So that went on for like a half hour.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder who it was. Was she a Swamini? Was she very elderly?
Very old. I imagine she was in her 50s.
Okay. Did she have orange on?
Don't recall. And this was over a year ago, I think.
This is all being recorded. They have Malati Devi is like, because like with ISKCON, if you want to be like an official satellite of ISKCON, you have to have a, what do they call it, GBC, Governing Body Commission member on your board.
She was Indian. Like I think
Oh, she was Indian? Yeah, this lady is an American, but she was with Prabhupada like in the like early days. And like they brought her, she like helped bring him to San Francisco when he first went to San Francisco. And she's their connect. So she goes through there and she's actually pretty cool. She fell off the path for a little while. And so she's got like the whole, and she became like a drug addict. I think that's her story. She got AIDS. And she's got really interesting kind of reflections on it. But she's like their connection person. And they bring in some pretty cool elders into that community sometimes. That sometimes don't even offend me. My big non-dualist ego.
Like the ceremony where we got like a bead for like maybe an aspect of ourselves, a habit that we're trying to get rid of or something, and then some people were ready to let go of the bead, let go of that habit or that quality that they have, and I still have my sort of pride, and everybody's like, you're gonna need more than one bead. I'm like, True. All right.
I'm a big advocate of what I'm calling mantra in motion, which is like not necessarily that you like sit around and meditate and do your mantra, but just like doing your mantra throughout the day. You know, it's like I do massage. So like when I'm doing massage,
Yeah.
like doing my mantra, the shit hits the fan around the house and Miriam and Anja, everybody's like melting down. Just do the mantra. And it brings the bhakti, you know, and it brings love. It brings good energy. It's not just disassociating, you know.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's a challenge, so I be accurate. Sometimes all day. It's not.
What do you mean when you say you can't do it in stillness? Like you,
Just sit and meditate unless I'm sitting in front of somebody and paying them to help me.
Uh-huh.
That's done.
yeah,
But I can walk with it
hmm
and be in a very good state for quite a while sometimes. So I'm okay with that.
satsanga is very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like one of the main teachings in Buddhism and Hinduism is like, yeah, be around people.
yeah.
It'll help.
Well, I didn't say I was around people.
Oh.
I'm alone, but doing stuff.
Yeah.
It is more challenging, really, but I touch on it sometimes.
All right, cool. So I guess we'll be back in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we'll be, or no, is it 3 weeks? It'll be December
Great.
4th, 5th, 3rd. Next week's Thanksgiving,
Okay.
and then it's December. Yeah, something like that. Is there the 30th, Wednesday the 30th? I don't remember.
2 weeks is December 3rd.
That's us.